future, and the Web 2 audience is significantly bigger than the Web 3 audience. So being able to make that change allowed us to have more potential marketing new users in the future. And that's working really well for us. 83% of our new marketing users are all using the Web 2 logins. As we talk to partners, as we talk to new artists and streamers, like explaining how to get a wallet is too big of a hurdle. So being able to say, use your Discord login, use your X login, use your email, was a huge win. And that jumped over that barrier for people. So that was great. Iterative broad testing. So we did a ton of testing this year. We did learnings on creative type. We did the same ad with, the beautiful Shibu version that's like mocked up and incredible. And then we did just straight screen grab in world. And in this audience, especially in like gaming situations, people want to see the real thing. And so in world visuals outperformed our like beautiful, sexy marketing stuff, which is cool. So that's what's awesome to learn, which is amazing because in-world looks so great these days. And so our plan is to just capture direct in-world footage and use that as our marketing campaigns. We also tested different platforms. We tested Google versus X. We tested YouTube. We tested direct ads. We tested Instagram. So we're continually learning and have been making those iterations across the board. We also did country versus country. So like it's super easy for us to acquire people in certain countries, but maybe they didn't have the hardware specs in different regions. Or it's really expensive for us to acquire people in the United States, but they got in easier. And we just have to weigh all of that cost analysis of which have the best success rate of actually being able to use our product regularly and what does it cost to acquire them. So just for all of you, I know there's a lot of questions and people ask me all the time, like, what are we doing to acquire new users? And I just want to say a lot of testing this year, which is great because we have so many amazing learnings that we can bring into 2026 and really double down. I think I mentioned to all of you, we also hired a new growth lead who comes from the gaming space. You'll see him in world. His in-name world is AWOL. He's been getting up to speed for the past month and will be taking it like through to new plans. So we're really excited about that. Platforms and accessibility, we didn't expand this year, but we did a lot of research, a lot of the first steps, and we have progress, as you'll see some today about mobile and how we're just going to expand in 2026. So net is like 2025. We learned so much. We tried a ton of new stuff. And we're really excited to be ready to welcome all of these new people now that the client's looking incredible. We have this beautiful new plaza that you all have been seeing. And marketing-wise, we have a clear direction, which I'll get into in a few slides. And I just love what I call the Decentraland fun facts. Sorry if you hear my dog. He's getting fancy. But real-time connection by the numbers. I really want to take a moment to be like, this is a really fun social space. So we have 70 minutes as our average session per login, and 40 to 120 minutes is like the typical time someone spends at one of our big events. Then we have 1 million chat messages sent this year. So can you all still hear me? Sorry, I'm just noticing the chat. Are we good? Okay, cool. 1 million chat messages this year. So you all are like communicating with one another, having conversations, having real relationships, which is amazing to see. Over 1 million emotes triggered. Every time I look, that number gets to be crazy higher. So I'm sure we're way above that at this point. This was through the end of November. I saw those dance moves, and I've been seeing the horse in the plaza. So I know we're probably at a few million at this point. And then 12,000 friendships accepted. So I just really wanted to say a shout out to all of you. You can tell when you look at this that like you're all having a good time together. And that's what this platform is really all for and all about. So just shout out to everyone for enjoying their in-world experiences and really making true connection inside. 2025 event program. Bay, are you up on stage? Do you want to take it from here for a little?
Hey, I am. Can you hear me? Can you hear me, Kim? Yeah, okay, awesome. Yeah, first off, massive, huge thanks to everybody that's been involved in any way in 2025 events. As always, it is a super privilege to be working with all of you, and you just make magic happen every single time. So, massive shout out to all creators, all builders, all wearable creators, everyone that's been to the events, everyone that's claimed emotes at the events, everyone that's been part of it. It has been absolutely magical this year. Thank you. So we had all of those events this year. They all happened. We went from things like small events with Build a Talent Trail all the way up to epic extravaganzas like Music Festival. We've just opened yesterday Festive Trail. Dive into Plaza, see the incredible decorations that Shibu Thomas, JP, and all the content team have created in Plaza. We've just dropped 22 different gifts in Plaza for Festive Trail. We've got 10 new build experiences coming, created by you all and the incredible studios that have been part of the open calls this year. So enjoy. Really hope to see you around in Festive Trail. And yes, just huge thank you to everybody that made events happen this year. Okay, Festive Trail, I just hyped. Let me know how you find it. This is the first time we've done a big multi-gift drop across Plaza. You'll see there's another special little thing appearing next week after 7 days of pure wearables. We're going to be diving into experiences. I would love your feedback on everything we're sharing in Festive Trail because that's going to help me design 2026 going forward. And I thought I should share a little bit of what's been happening behind the scenes with you all. If you're not a studio, you might not know that something called Creator Connect has been happening for the last 5 months. It's a flagship program that we put together to bring artists and studios together into paid collaboration, deliver new permanent in-world experiences across Decentraland. Next slide, we'll see what that looked like in practice. So we've worked with some huge, huge artists like Sarah Shakil, who came on board Creator Connect as part of Art Week. She has 1.5 million followers on Instagram. She now features Decentraland as part of one of her story tabs on top of her profile. From the levels of Shakil all the way through, next slide, please, Doyen, to independence, like Mika Al Hadaf, big 3D creators. We had some communities work with us, being paired with studios as well. People like Hape, Psychedelics Anonymous. You might have seen their builds as part of Music Festival. People like Psychofuturist that did the crazy GIF installation for Music Fest. And so we've been putting these people together and seeing what happened. Next slide, please. And real magic. This was the Joanna Janikowski installation with the amazing Nikki Fuego and Stom for Art Week. Slide. And this is what Nikki and Stom created for Hape. So this is just one of the studios we've been working with. Next slide. And so we had this program to really try and do two things: connect the studios with some really inspiring artists and communities, fill empty land in Genesis, and also see whether we could put some processes in place to really speed things up. In terms of activations and collaborations. So we had 17 studios working this time with 30 artists. We put together all this procurement, collaboration, deployment steps. If you talk to any of the studios, they will tell you about how much I've been sending, emailing, templates, ways of working. Make had a collaboration as part of Music Fest. So just ask us if you want to know any more about some of the process that went out behind the scenes. But we activated 220 parcels as part of the program. And more importantly, we had a 100% satisfaction rate from both these international artists, the communities, and the studios. That's not what I expected. We went into this with our eyes open, thinking, oh my goodness, we've never done something like this before. It could go horribly wrong if we don't get this right. And we have artists that don't like what's being built. We have studios that maybe are saying, Bay, these artists are asking us for things that we can't do in Decentraland. And I have been blown away by both the quality of work, but also just how much this has been loved by everybody involved. Um, and this is the 100% satisfaction rate. Every single person involved in the program said they'd do it again with us. And they loved what could be produced within Decentraland. So I think as a community, it's something to be really celebrated. What didn't work, though, was that even though we were working with these huge artists and they were getting incredibly excited and they were really happy with what we produced, it didn't convert to spikes of users within the events. So it was about sitting down at the end of this year and thinking, okay, we've worked with some huge communities, we've worked with some huge artists. What can we do to actually make more of an impact on people and world? And as Kim has kind of introduced, that these activations have to be always on. Kim and her team have to be able to market something continuously, bring people in, show what's successful, show just how much amazing magic is happening in the world, but it not being confined to 4 days of an event. Kind of as bonus content for all of this learnings over the last year is that the open call system we started back in 2024 and we built on using the Creator Connect framework just was producing amazing content. I'm going to pick forward in a few seconds, but just huge shout out to all the community creators that came through open call and have been building like all of the builds that were part of the Fright Night Trail, all of the community builds that came in through Art Week. We've just been blown away by the quality, and we want to create more of that in 2026. And also, as another side effect of speeding everything up with Creator Connect, we were able to pipeline templates. So the studios that were working with me in Creator Connect, when they had some downtime, I asked if they could create the templates for Creator Hub. So I think if you're a Creator Hub user, you'll have seen 5 new templates: art gallery, spooky house, cozy house, party pad, and a live stream room. So just fantastic work on all the studios that brought those together. And Kazi, next slide. Okay, cool. But KJ's amazing party pad template. If you haven't seen it already, dive into Creator Hub and take a look. And then second one, Hayabusa's Whale, which was for Art Week. If you haven't already seen it, hit the Art Week installations and take a look. Just more of that coming forward in 2026. But as Kim has trailed, we're going to be doing some longer form activations to really be able to take the word out outside of our amazing community to what is possible in world. Okay, so 2026 planning and intention. Kim, are you able to talk again? Are you back in the Discord?
Can you all hear me or no?
Yes, I
I'll
can,
try to do
Kim.
it if not.
I can hear you, Kim. Can you hear me?
Yes, you can hear Kim? Okay, cool.
Yes.
I can't hear anyone else, so I apologize if I'm speaking over you, but I will walk through this if that works for everyone. Okay, perfect. Just type in the chat if I need to stop talking because someone else is talking. Thanks, guys. So 2026 planning, we are shifting from trying a lot of things, which we did in 2025, and moving to 2026 with real intentional focus. So we're gonna make some really big shifts here that we'll kind of go through. So we're going to shift, as we mentioned, from like these multi-months of planning for big 4-day events to like what I'm assuming Bay also talked about, but like continual, always on content, weekly live ops for regular fun with evergreen marketing. We can potentially layer some of them in again. We'll see where we're at, but I think we need to make sure when people come in on a random day, it's gonna make sure there's something fun to do and we can utilize the theater now. We have this plaza, we have new scenes coming, and so how do we make sure that it's always a fun, good time and that they can meet each other and then learn about all the community events kind of from there. So always on weekly live ops is where we're going to be focusing this year and testing that out. We are also going to shift from a download now CTA to really this like sign up for email CTA, which enables us to remarket and have multiple touch points at no extra costs. If you've listened to me speak before, you know I've mentioned that we You typically need about 7 marketing touch points before someone converts to a sale or a big action. And downloading an app is definitely a big action. So we want to make that as easy as possible and ensure that we don't have to pay every time we want to get in front of people for those 7 actions. So being able to get emails earlier, especially now that we have a Web 2 audience that is more reasonable. When you're in Web 3 audience, people don't want emails. So this is allowing this shift to happen. So we will be making some of those updates as well. And then shifting from speaking to only our audience, like you all know what's happening in Decentraland, you know how to figure it out, but ensuring we partner with streamers and content creators and speak to their audiences. We have to get outside of our own little circle here. We did trial this. They did an amazing job with this concept that we did for Music Fest. And as you saw, if you all were there, like people came in from Office Drummer's stream. Vlu had an amazing group. She called them the Darksiders. That's her follower community name, the Darksiders. And they all jumped in, put on black like wearables, and were partying to the right of her set on the stage. And so that was our first test doing it. I was just looking at data last night, and you can see when we had streamers in, we had a spike in new users. So we're going to continue that effort and bring more fun, really interesting streamers in and have them show what's possible. And the reason we didn't do this earlier was just like the space we were at in the client. So we are definitely in a space where it looks good on stream, it's more stable, it's way more immersive, there's more people in there. So like now is the time to capitalize on that. Sinful Doug Shells also, totally. So any of them that did those streams on Twitch, we saw their communities have a lot of fun. And I heard so many times, if you all go back, if you missed their streams, they're all saved on Twitch, but you go back and you hear them be like, this was such a cool experience. I've never gotten to see myself perform. Or I loved being able to meet new people and watch it in a fun, immersive environment. So that was just really cool. Jump into the next slide. Broad messages to multiple audience groups. Again, this is that testing to really building for one growth persona. So our team in particular is going to focus on one type of person and go get them. That does not mean all the other type of people are not interested in Decentraland, couldn't be good targets. They totally can. We are just going to intentionally go after one group at a time. So the next slide. Meet Maya, who's our growth persona. So this is who our team is going to actively try to go after. We're really going after this person that grew up online and maybe a little more reserved IRL, but is super social in nature. And they would do great in Decentraland. They maybe don't identify as a gamer, but they know how to play games. They know how to use the keys. They know how to jump. They crave adult digital hangouts. So maybe they spent some time in Roblox, but now they're like, hey, this is all kids. Like, I want to hang out with adults. I want to have casual fun. I want connection over competition. So this is probably not a person that's hanging out in like first person shooter games. They are really looking for that fun stuff. They're the people I expect to show up to like be on the NFT. They're going to come to the Stony party on Monday. They're going to show up on Friday. They're going to come learn from Lastrum. Like these are the types of people that are going to engage and really want to be relating to others, to be culturally current and slightly chaotic, just like we all are. They are Decentraland type people. So this is who we're going to spend time going after, just so you all are aware of like the intentional work we're going to put in here. So lots more to come. I know I spent a lot of time talking and we had some tech issues, but thank you everyone. We have really big marketing goals this year and super, super excited to bring them all to life and grow with you all together. Thank you.
Hello, everybody. Yeah, we come with the product updates. Kase, please. This cycle that started in November and finished actually this Friday was focused on improving the social features and the content creation and DCL economy. So go to the next one. So new features that we have implemented. First of all is for all users. It is the new Genesis Plaza So I'm really happy that we were able to deliver this amazing piece of content. I'm actually really proud of the content team that we have today that elevated the quality of that we have in terms of content for the plaza. If you go to the next slide, please, Kase. This plaza is with the objective to be open and fun. It is your meeting point and a place where you can hang out and discover new features, find out new experiences, be informed about the new events that are happening. This is with the intention of being a long-term maintenance project. We are not going to code this, deliver that, and release it and leave it like that. Probably like what we did with the previous Plaza. It took a couple of years actually to start updating it. So the intention with this one is that it's going to be always changing, and we're going to have new content every week. And this is going to be a different approach. This is going to be managed by real people with real jobs in the plaza. So they have a job in the digital world, and they're going to be constantly running live ops, as Kim was mentioning before, with things like live events or the greeters. So we want the plaza to be a living, breathing place, and also to be the experimenting place for the new mechanics and new functionalities on the SDK, so we can push those limits and start improving the SDK with real use cases. And those tools and improvements on the SDK actually translate to everybody else in the community. So we're going to be building all of these with the same tools so everybody can benefit from it. So a big shout out to the content team that delivered an amazing plaza that we are all enjoying already. We also delivered the credits extension. So right now you are able to use credits in order to buy a name. Also, you will be able to buy a name with Polygon Mana and to pay the collection fees with credits as well. I know the collection fees right now are still very high, and you cannot really accumulate enough credits in order to pay them completely, but you can partially pay with the credits today. So if you go to the next slide, please, you will see that this is a video. So you can now go and buy a name directly. And whenever you go and claim the name, you will see that we have a new use credits. And if you don't have enough, you will be paying the difference, and that you will be able to pay with Mana. And in the next one, we don't have a video, but yeah, if you're going to pay with the collection fees, in this case, I didn't have credits on the platform to actually pay them because I use them. But yeah, you will be able to either use it, and if you don't have it, it will take you to the page to learn more about it. We did a bunch of new improvements on the communities, from improving the way that we rank the communities. Right now, it was based exclusively on number of members. So now we have created an algorithm that we are tweaking, that takes in consideration number of events that you created, number of live streams that you host, number of new members in the last week, announcements, likes, things like that, in order to craft and to push as well new communities that are including new members, so they have a chance to be on the top of the list, and it's easier to have them visibility, so we are not having all the same communities at the top. Then we have as well an improved members navigation, that it was a little bit hard to load the list of members. Performance improvements, it took ages to actually load the community page. Right now it's much faster. And the next, the following things I'm gonna talk in on top of a video. Can you go to the next slide, please? So yeah, if you go now to the community tab, you will see that in invite and request, click on, you will see now the invites that you receive from the community. Sorry, I haven't really accepted this one because it's good for me for testing. But then you have the request received from your community, so you can accept them directly there, and as well the request that you send to other communities. of course, from here you can continue accepting or deleting a request from a community. I don't gonna delete this one from Ola DCL. Um, Next thing that we have implemented is that you have a new announcement tab, so you can write announcements in your community and people can like them. So every time that you post a new announcement on your community, everybody that has the notification enabled will receive a notification about that announcement, and they can like that. And if you are a moderator or an owner of a community, you will be able to handle those. So moderators and owners can write new announcements there. So yeah, you will see those in the notification area. We have also implemented a way for transferring ownership. So if you don't want to own the community anymore, you can give it to another person. The only requirement is that they have a name. And also you can copy a link and share it with your community. That takes you to the web version of the community that only allows you to actually join and jump in worlds. It's not interactive with the rest of the stuff, but it shows the upcoming events and the number of members. So you can start sharing the links of the community there. And another thing that we implemented is the discoverability of communities. Now you can unlist it. So if you have a community that is maybe a few friends and to hang out, and you don't want anybody to be able to join, you can hide it so it's not present in the search results. Um, okay, and then we comes to social emotes. We finally have a working version. Unfortunately, we were not able to deliver that during the festive trail. It was our original intention. But yeah, we have been promising this for a few months already. So I think we should go directly to show it off. Um, go to the next slide. First, I'm gonna talk about the new interaction system. I think you already saw a glimpse of that. Don't hit play first, Cassie. I'm gonna explain something. Um, Maybe this new interaction system you already saw on the Decentraland yesterday and a couple of days ago, but we had to revert the code because it was causing a lot of problems. So things like the emotes glitching and everybody stopping dancing and everybody rotating at the same time and some of the crashes and things like that, it was due um, a push that we did to the production that it was a little bit faulty. So we had to revert it, but maybe you saw this interaction model already. So let's go hit play, please, Kase. So right now we have removed the left click interaction that automatically opened the profile. So right now, whenever you mouse over a avatar, it will be highlighted and you can right click to open the context menu. Opening the context menu leads you to more functionalities that you can do to that player, including the view profile, copying the wallet or the name, or actually starting a chat or a voice chat directly from there. That will help with the discoverability of functionality and to be able to make it easy for everybody to interact with it. And as well, we're gonna be removing that legacy thing that everybody was complaining that left clicking open the profile and you accidentally do that. Next slide. So now that's it. That it was a requirement for the social emotes. Click play, please. So um, soon, I don't know when, but soon, you will be able to send an emote to someone, and you will see that we have these emotes with this new icon, and those emotes are social emotes that require an interaction from someone. So now I'm sending that to Rochu, and she can accept my request to actually high five, or she can send me this emote of hugging. She's actually sent that to everybody, so anybody can actually hug right now, Romy. But this one particularly have two different options. Go a little bit back, Case, because the video is too fast and I don't have time to explain it a little bit more. So yeah, there is a social emotes that have multiple interactions. So whenever you left click on it, you will see a context menu with the different options that you can do on top of that. So move press play, please. So I can left click and you will see that there is a hug and kiss on cheek options. So I can decide which interaction I'm gonna have with Rochu. In this case, I'm gonna select hug, and Rochu as well gonna send me that emote as well, but it's gonna be targeted to me by basically by right clicking and sending an emote. And as you can see, I have received a notification saying Rochu invited you to close friends, I think it was. And as she was targeting that to me, um, she was rotating toward me in any direction, so I can know that this emote is directed directly to me. I can do something like that as well. We have social emotes that have different outcomes. In this case, we have rock, paper, scissors. So every time that Rochu interact with me, it's gonna be a different outcome. So you can define up to 3 different outcomes in a social emote. And yeah, in this case, it was a tie. Right now, it is a tie as well. And we're gonna try for another time. And I think this time is gonna be Rochu winning. So yeah, that's a different type of social emotes. And we have improved normal emotes as well. So right now you can right click on someone, send an emote, whatever emote it is. And if I send that, and she will receive a notification that I am sending this particular emote to her, and I will be rotating toward her. So now you can direct all your applause, your kisses, your hugs, and stuff like that toward a specific person. And it's actually quite fun when a bunch of people actually directed their emotes toward a single person, and you can see all of them rotating at the same time. So yeah, this is the interesting stuff about the social emotes that we hope we can release at the beginning of the next year, with together with these piggyback emotes. And yeah, um, I'm gonna talk now about the tooling and how you can create these emotes. So I'm gonna show you the counterpart of the builder. So we don't have the documentation available yet. As soon as we release it, you will be able to start creating social emotes. Click on play, please. So now we can create a collection, and if you upload an emote that have multiple animations and have the correct format, that it will be part of the documentation. The builder automatically will recognize that bundle as a social emote and will allow you to define the starting animation and the different outcomes and things if like the if it's gonna be randomized or not. So in this case, I'm gonna define this as rock, paper, scissors. I don't gonna worry about the thumbnail right now because I haven't really defined the outcome yet. So yeah, I was asking Cassette to actually click save. This is our recording. Sorry. No, no. So yeah, whenever you upload a bundle that have multiple animations, you will see that the system automatically shows an interface dedicated for social emotes, where you can define the starting animation and you define the animation clip that is going to be assigned to the avatar, and as well the animation clip that is going to be assigned to a prop if you have a prop for the starting animation. You can define the emotes as randomized. So whenever outcome you define, it's gonna be automatically selected whenever you play that emote. Or you can select different outcomes like this one, player one wins, where you assign the avatar one, avatar two, and props, and a sound playing on that particular sequence. And you can define if you're gonna have it played once or it's gonna be playing on loop. Um, Again, you can define up to 3 different outcomes. In this case, I am defining as well the outcome for player 2 and the outcome for a tie in case that, yeah, nobody wins. So yeah, as soon as you save that, you will be able to move a little bit the video forward, Casa, please. Yeah, as soon as you save that, you will be able to show to preview that emote into the builder by selecting the specific sequence, and you're going to have a counterpart there to see how it's going to look. So yeah, the information and the documentation will be available at the beginning of the next year. I'm really excited about this feature and see what the community does with social emotes. Okay, next slide, please. Yeah, we said that we're going to be working on the head sync in the previous iteration and a functionality to point at. Unfortunately, we didn't have time to have something workable for the point at prototype, and we'll work on that in another time. But we have a demo for the head synchronization. So go to the next slide, please. Do you know that in the Explorer 2.0, we created a system for the head to move around whenever you are looking at different places in the camera? But this is something that only happened locally, so your head actually wasn't being synchronized with anybody else. So what we have done is basically that we have synchronized the head position, so we know what people are looking at, and you can have this non-verbal communication, right? So in this case, Rochu is looking around and moving their head to see stuff that is in their environment, but she can use that as well to communicate with me. So if she wants to say yes, they will able to do it quickly with the head direction. Yes, or she can say no, or she can move her around saying, I don't know exactly, right? So this is something that you will be able to see with everybody that is not playing an emote, because head synchronization only happens whenever you're idle. But if you don't like this functionality, or you don't want people to know where you're looking at, you can go to the settings, and in control you will have this functionality head sync that will disable that for all players, so you don't need to synchronize your head movement. Next slide, please. Yeah, we have a new functionality, as we mentioned in the past, all hands, that we have integrated gift, wearables, and emotes in World. We have a video working on that. Please go to the next slide. Click on play. So now you, in the context menu of a player, that also works whenever you right click a player now, you will see this menu. He goes too fast. Kase, can you go back a little bit and pause it on the panel? Exactly. So in this panel, you will be able to select between wearables and emotes, search along them. You will see a multiplier. So if you have more than one item of the same type, you will see +2, +3, and that also is part of the backpack. So from here, you can select the asset that you want to send. You can hit play now, Kase, and it will have a confirmation dialog, and then it will take you to the browser, so you can sign the transaction, confirm to send directly, and yeah, signing the transaction here. And the other player will receive a notification saying that you received a gift from another player. So yeah, we will see that from the point of view of another player, and you can see that, yeah, you received a gift, and when clicking on this notification, it will take you directly to the backpack so you can equip it. Go to the next slide, please. Okay, so now we have the updates for things that we have done in this cycle by creators, and we're gonna have Dr. Krilo, Juan.
Hey, Laura, thank you very much. Hi, everyone. Hope you can hear me well. Now we are going to go through the updates of features, let's say, that are regarding creators. And the first one is audio signal processing. Cassie, you can play the video now. We are going to see two different things on the left and on the right side. We can see that the sphere on the right is reacting to the volume, let's say to the general volume, the amplitude of the audio signal. And on the left, we have the bars that are controlled by the FFT, the fast Fourier transform, and basically it allows you to process, let's say, gather that information based on particular high, mid, or low bands of frequency. Basically, this allows us to create very cool. Let's think about light shows. So we could have lights that react in a specific way for high, mid, and lows frequencies, and then we can also have general ones with the volume, let's say, the amplitude. So we are providing these two audio signal processing features. We can go to the next one, Kase. This is a huge one, an amazing one. We have tipping for creators. You can start the video, thank you. And now you can see that both from the minimap, if we click on a certain parcel, we see an icon next to the house, which allows us to give tipping to the creator of the scene. You can select or fixed amounts or a custom one, and you can see also in the navbar that when we go through a parcel that has this setup, you can also do it. So you have two ways of doing this. This allows a lot of economy for the creator of the scene itself, and you can have this in the metadata of your scene. So basically, another way of promoting economy inside our scenes. It should go. It takes some time. And now you have it. So you send a mana tip, let's say, to the creator of the scene. You can set this up in the metadata, as I said, and this allows us a lot of new economic possibilities for the scene creation, in case they are not maybe, let's say, a wearable creator that has an easier path, let's say, for gathering this before the implementation. Control player locomotion, and this is a big one. We are now having the chance to make our the scene can make our player run slower or faster, walk slower or faster, and also jump higher and lower. And you can start the video, Kase, if you want. This is a super quick way of showing this. And of course, this allows us to create, we can think about parkour scene, right? That needs specific locomotion mechanics in order to get to some points of the scene. You could probably make a lot more complex stuff using this, but you can see there a quick demo of how to do it, and I think it was a very desired implementation. So yeah, there you go. We can go to the next one. Kase, please. There you go. New templates. Okay, Bay was already talking about this in the past slides, but yes, basically during this cycle we released 3 of them: the Party Pad, the Streaming Hub, and the Team Hub. The first video shows, well, this is much more important. This is the Team Hub. As you can see, this has a lot of code in it. It's already a template in the Creator Hub. I encourage everyone to use it because it's great. I am going to use it also tomorrow in office hours, and it allows you to do polling, for example, based on your location. As you can see, I have 2 options for this poll, and I am going into one of the answers, and now I can see how that number changes, even if the counter didn't go down all the way. You can see that now the stats change if I move from one to the other. And finally, I have the last results. This is an amazing template, I think, in terms of creators that want to integrate it into their own scenes, or maybe they want to do some cool mechanics and try to get feedback from your spectators. So yes, I think that's a great one, and stay tuned for tomorrow in case you want to see. We are going to put it into action. Lock and unlock player cursor. Okay, in case there are some scenarios where you might want your UI to be, the cursor to be locked or unblocked, depending on which type of UX you are trying, the UI you are trying to interact with. So, Kase, can you play it again, please? So we can see that in one cube, we can freeze our cursor, and with the other one, we can unblock it. And this opens up a lot of cool functionalities, maybe for shooters and other stuff, or maybe also for integrating it and making it easier for UI's interaction. Smart wearables, okay, this is a huge one. Smart wearables are back in the new client. Of course, they need to be coded in the SDK 7. Any type of interaction regarding Web3 behaviors will need to ask for permissions in order for you to accept a transaction, let's say. But a lot of different things can be done. Please, Kase, if you can play the video. And now we can see a very cool wearable that Nico did, which is basically a headlamp, and you can see on the top right that you have an UI that you can change the color with, etc. So you can create smart wearables that have their own UIs, and of course, it's using also the new light feature. And this is great because, of course, your creativity is the only limit. It allows a lot of cool functionalities. Already some smart wearables are being developed by the community. And in case you are a scene creator and you don't want people to be able to trigger these smart wearable, behaviors in your scene, you can block it in case, for example, again, you might have a parkour scene, let's say. And if you have a smart wearable that allows you to build things and shop on top of it, you could, let's say, cheat the game to win. So you can enable it from your scene. Smarter items. Okay, Cassie, can you please play the video? So basically, this new script component was added to items. That means that you can put some code on it. You can access them directly from the Creator Hub, and in this way, you will be able to make some much more complex smart items and then ship them, which is great. And you can do this with the script component in the Creator Hub. You can add it to your entity, and then you can code on it. And there we can see a couple of different behaviors that are happening with these different items. So they are using code, and I think also it's great because before that we were tied by needing to use the Creator Hub UI, and now we can put code into it, enabling a lot of new smart items that can be developed, and we are going to go into a little bit more details through the features of the next cycle. There you go. So I will pass it back to Alvaro.
Hello, can you hear me now?
Yep.
Okay, go to the next slide, please. Cycle 16. So this is gonna be from January to February. We decided to have 3 different strategy pillars than we have from the previous 2 cycles. In this case, we're gonna be focusing on having features that are fun and immersive, to focus on the immersion, emotional connection, to craft your digital identity or the responsiveness that you have to the environment. In general, we want the world to feel more alive and more interactable. Enable kick-ass content. So we want to change our dynamics, and we want to approach development of the SDK and creator tools with a use case in mind. So we need to apply those cases to real-world scenarios. We want to identify the pain points that we have with the toolings today and try to remove them. And as well, the third point, it will be connecting the dot. I think for the last couple of years we have been building a lot of features, but we didn't make a good progress on actually discovering them or allowing people to understand why they will be useful. But as well, in terms of the content, I think we made a mistake on not exposing the content from the community in a better way, so you can browse that content and that have relevance for you. So yeah, that's what we're going to be focusing on the next cycle. So we put a lot of initiatives on top of the table for that, and the one that has been voted, go to the next one, please. So the ones that affect all of the users is that first we're gonna be implementing a new a login system that allows you to create sign up, sign in of site transactions directly inside of the Explorer, so you don't need to get out of it. It removes that kind of problem of going back and forth to the browser or having to interact with the MetaMask account. In this scenario, we're going to be integrating Third Web that allows you to do all of that and have a Unity plugin that allows you to do that. That will open the door for us to have an easier integration into distribution platform. So if we released on platforms like Epic Store, people will be able to launch the game, create an account directly there, and sign transactions without actually having to go to the website or logging in there. Well, we're gonna be bringing back this cover section that was on already available on the web version. In this case, we're gonna be focusing on giving more importance to places and worlds. We are not going to make a difference between those, so all of them gonna be on the same level. So we're gonna be flagging these as experiences, and you will be able to find them in the same place. We're gonna have a sorting and ranking algorithm to, I don't know, check how many events has been created on these places, or how many likes, or how many people have favorite these places, or I don't know, on an event, how many people actually attended to that event. So we can try to promote those places to everybody based on their on what they like. We're gonna have as well a calendar view that is gonna be integrated alongside. That is going to be showing all the future events, and it's gonna be highlighting the ones that are being trending or the ones that are part of your community, so you never missed an event. And this will include as well a view for recently visited places. So if you actually stayed some time on a place, that will be added to your history, and you can revisit those places and go back to them. And also we're gonna have a specific version for a specific section to show your favorites and the place that you own and the worlds that you own. Actually, there's no easy way to actually jump into a world that you have. So yeah, we're gonna do that. Yeah, some people were complaining about the parkour in the platform. So we're gonna make it much better. We're gonna make it easier for everybody to enjoy it, but also more versatile for game developers if they want to do a gamified experience on their scene. So we know that parkour is hard. So now you will be able to execute a double jump in midair. So you can reach higher places, or if you actually didn't reach one, you can try again. We're gonna have also a gliding system. So if you are falling from a high distance, you will be able to glide, and that will slow down your falling and as well your lateral movement. Also, we're gonna have some improvements on how do you visualize your dropping area. So we're gonna have dropping shadows that will help a lot on determining where your avatar is vertically, so it is easier to land. And one thing that we think is cool is that this is going to be directly connected with the SDK. So on your scenes, you can decide to enable, disable these functionalities as you please, or I don't know, do things like if you get a power up, you will be able to double jump, or you can pick the glider on top of this roof, and at that time you will be able to do gliding when you fall. So you will be, as a developer, in control of all these new features. Yeah, and I will pass it on to Juan for the creator. No, I have a couple of them. For the creators, we're gonna have private worlds. So we already can have private worlds right now. If you go to the builder, modify the permissions on your world, you will be able to add the specific wallets that are allowed to enter. But that system is a little bit tricky to work with, so we're gonna improve that. We're gonna be able to do batch import of that allow list. We're also gonna have a setting, so if you want, you can define a world only accessible by the members of your community, either if it's public or private. And then all of those settings will be able to be modified directly from the Creator Hub instead of being part of the web builder. So we are unifying all of that into a single place. And another exciting one is that right now we want to be working on making the worlds not a single scene, so you can have multiple scenes deployed in the same world. So you will have some sort of a world city planner where you can define the dimensions of your city, and you will be able to collaborate with others that have collaboration or moderator permissions over your world to deploy their scenes directly there. So you can create your mini cities collaborative with other members of your community as well, or you will be able to have, in combination with the previous shape, private worlds where you will not be working on multi-scene events in private and only specific people have access to it. Yeah, as well, we're going to have server-side storage. So now that we have an authoritative server and we can build server-side code on their scenes, we're going to be able to store secrets and config files inside that server, but as well, we're going to have a key value API. So if you want to have a database and have persistent data on your scene, to either record the status of the items in the scene or the scores of the players and stuff like that, you will be able to do all of those things without actually having to have your own server deployed and your own API call. So we are fully fleshing that part of the server side of the code. Next slide, please. Now we'll leave it to Juan that continues here.
Thank you very much, Alvaro, once again. One of the things that we are going to do during this cycle, that the upcoming cycle, is going to be the smart item scripts. I already mentioned this, that was being developed over the last cycle, but there are some improvements that will be done. Basically, smart items currently can only be built using predefined actions, right? And code enabling smart items can have very complex functionalities. And the add-ons that we want to add to this new component is the ability to add input parameters, having different types like number, string, and others to be part of the input parameters of that script component. We want to be able to execute a function from a script, let's say, somewhere else in your code in order to, let's say, to make it part of your scene, and being able to trigger all these custom behaviors from other parts of the code, and also adding some paths for the scripts. So the idea behind this is avoiding absolute and relative path errors in case you hard-coded them. So being able to have a specific asset path for these scripts for you to call it easierly. Quality scene UIs. Okay, there has been some issues regarding UI placement based on screen sizes, for example. So the idea is polishing this up, making it able to scroll inside a UI, being able to change some font options, since we only have one at the moment, styling options also for the drop-downs and the input boxes, and also the UI scaling for the different scene sizes. Here you can see an image before and after, and how it makes it much clearer and easier. There have been some suggestions from the creator side, so the idea is making these UIs much better in the future. SDK syntax shortcuts. Okay, so there are some let's say, common behaviors that needs some workarounds from the code, and they are not one-liners. The idea is facilitating the creator to do this with SDK shortcuts. Think of it like delay times. Now you need to do a loop for creating a delay time in order to execute a function. So the idea is having this kind of shortcuts that makes it much easier for the developer that is creating the scene to implement it. Also being able to execute the function in fixed intervals instead of you needing to specify the system, how you do it. Get the global position and rotation of a scene. And also knowing if a player is a scene admin in case certain behaviors are only thought for the common user, let's say, and maybe the scene admin can go through it. So the idea is having all these shortcuts to make the scene creation easier and basically reducing the lines of code you use to achieve the same. It's not that it's not possible to do it right now, but you need to write more code. And the idea is having these shortcuts to make your code base easier to read and easier to develop. Okay, spawn points in the Creator Hub. There have been also a lot of requests from the community because we didn't have a way of visualizing the spawn point on a scene or the rotation of the avatar whenever it joins the scene. This can, of course, let's say, crash with the type of scene behavior that you are looking for. So basically, the idea is providing this, as you can see in the image, providing a spawn point that will have an entity visually in the Creator Hub UI, so you can move it around and have all this knowledge instead of being testing spawn points kind of blindly with the position, and you can change it around. You could also have different spawn points, but basically the idea is that you will have this initial spawn point and you will be able to change it without the need to go into the spawn settings. And you can also see a button that says random offset. The idea is being able to give some radius on how this minimum randomness regarding the spawning point is taken into consideration, and also the position and the rotation. So you will be able to choose how the avatar is looking, where, and also if you want to add some randomness into it. This, of course, helps a lot in many different situations, but of course, thinking about a game, let's say a gameplay that has maybe a very specific place where you are starting, makes a lot of sense and much easier to get the right point set. Okay, and you can play the video because it's quite long, but now you might already, all of you, be familiar that we need to click to be pointing to with the cursor to a certain object in case we want to trigger it, as you can see it in this part. And the idea basically is providing a way for us to interact with objects without the need of having the cursor placed on top of it. And this is going to be based on the rotation. Can you pause right now, Kase, there? As you can see, if the avatar is looking at the door and if it's a certain distance from the door, you will get the press E message underneath. And that means that if you are facing the door, you will be able to press it. If not, you won't. And you don't need to have the cursor placed on top of the door. And now you can see that if the avatar is not looking at the door, it doesn't say the press E. So basically, it's having this option of interaction based on proximity and rotation of the avatar. Also super helpful for many different type of game mechanics where maybe you don't want to be using your cursor and you just want to be running around. It mimics the gameplay of many games. Okay, preload resources, and this might be a little bit technical, but basically the Creator Hub only downloads a 3D model whenever they need to be used. And this brings some frictions because, for example, if you are playing a sound, let's say, you might have a little delay between you play it and you hear it, or maybe you want to use a custom emote that lives in your scene, and you're going to trigger it and won't trigger the first time because it downloads the asset and you will need to do it again. The idea is being able to add an asset load component as part of the components that you can add to an entity. And in case you do that, it will download automatically the 3D models whenever the scene loads. And that means that these kind of clunky effects that you had with both sound and preload assets in your scene shouldn't happen anymore. So you will be able to have a much smoother experience inside your scene. Physics impulse to player. Okay, creators don't have a way of dynamically move a player in a scene. The only ones that can move around are themselves, right? So the idea is exposing an API, a controlled and safe API for the player that can create these impulses, give some direction and some impulse to the player so you can make them jump around. Also, let's think about parkour scenes where you might have boxes that if they touch you, they get you out off the road and you will lose, and maybe you go down and you need to go up again. So impulse for physics impulses might be one of the best use cases, but it can be applied to many different ones. It's also a very desired implementation from the community. So I am super happy that it got in. Next one, please. Okay, and I will pass the mic to Regenesis Labs. Gino.
Thank you, Dr. Grillo. Hey, everyone. How's it going? Okay, well, quick context before we jump in. For those of you who weren't on the last community all hands, so Regenesis Labs is the DAO's execution arm. We're a small team funded by the community, by the DAO Treasury to ship high impact work for Decentraland, for the ecosystem. We are currently focused on shipping the first version of a mobile client for Decentraland and working in content production for games and experiences for mobile as well. Our focus is always on delivering and also being as transparent as possible to the community with measurable outcomes. Next one, Kaze. Thank you. And like this is important because, as I was saying, like one of our focus areas is being transparent to the community, and one of our key objectives for the first months of operation has been to strengthen the team and to hire for critical positions that were needed to ship the projects that we have in hand. I want to share that we now filled all the positions that we had open across engineering, design, and content quality for this first 6 months. We hired an amazing Godot engineer from within the community. I won't be putting like names or usernames here, but like if you want to say, hey, it's me, I know that you're in the chat. This role will support the shipment of the first version of the mobile client, shipping faster, working on a better UI and stylizing all the core loops and the UX of the client. We also hired, and as well from within the community, an art director. Is someone that you probably know, or at least you probably know one of the projects that he worked in the past, which is Polygon and Mine. Is one of the studios that built amazing experiences in Decentraland back in 2021, 2022. This role is all about like raising the visual quality of the things that we are shipping, and also building like a repeatable and scalable content pipeline, so we can start producing experiences, mini games, and scenes at quality and consistently. We also hired one engineer for the Berry team, which is a team working on the experimental version of a web browser, a web client for Decentraland. That team was like really small, and it needed some support. So we found someone with Rust experience, which is the language that is being used to develop this Berry client. So we're happy with that as well. And we finally hired one product designer, right? Product designer is the person responsible for building the interfaces and the UIs for the mobile client. It's someone who's coming from a project very similar to Decentraland, I would say, a competitor maybe. She has like more than 5 years working on user-generated content platforms and also has gaming experience. So we are also happy to have her on board. Next one, Kase. Thank you. Okay, this is important as well. We just released our transparency report, our first transparency report. This is available to view and download on the forum. This is as well part of like our commitment to being as transparent as possible to the community, not just what we are building, but also how we spend the money and how we operate. It includes a breakdown of the spending categories, the remaining budget, and a transaction level view, so anyone can audit the work. But the cool thing is that we also hired, well, not hired, it was basically elected by the community through a proposal that was proposed by the DAO Council, an independent auditor. You might know her, it's Mariana, it's from the community. She has a professional background to do an audit on financials and operations. The good news is that she didn't found any like significant risks or findings to flag, so we are happy with that. If you spot anything unclear, if you wanna ask questions, just let us know. We'd rather like improve the report format in public than optimize for looking perfect. Hopefully Q1 is gonna be even better and it's gonna be shipped even faster. Next one, Kazen. Thank you. This is something that we announced back in November, well, October, November. The Decentraland as a project has been present in DevConnect. DevConnect is the biggest Ethereum conference that was held in Buenos Aires this year. As you all know, Buenos Aires is the hometown of Decentraland, so we wanted to be there. We wanted to show up for builders, community members, well, Foundation and Regenesis Labs members as well, to tell our story to the broader and try to connect as much as possible the experience of being in world, the experience of being in Decentraland with the real world scenario. I'll share some highlights. So next one. Thank you. The first thing we did is like we basically organized or was part of an amazing creators panel. This creators panel was organized by Neutro, which is a community of artists that are part of the Decentraland ecosystem. You probably saw some of their builds on the party pads, on the music festival, on Art Week. And also, well, if you've seen the Chidi events in world, well, those are the ones that we're talking about. We had Lázaro and Muffin, we had Glamchain, we had Dr. Krillo, and we have Carlos Mu, which is here clapping on the chat. So thanks, Carlos, for joining us. I think it was an amazing and honest conversation about the experience of building in Decentraland. A bit chaotic, but really fun. So if you met us there, amazing, thank you. If you didn't, we'll try to keep doing more of this like in real world touch points with the creators. Next one, please. Thank you. Well, we also shipped our first community event, our first hackathon, the Bring Your Vibe hackathon. I wanted to touch base on a quick recap on how this went. It was, I would say, our first experiment to try to onboard maybe new builders and ship scenes as fast as possible, leveraging AI tools. We got 142 registered users and 35 project submissions. The thing that I like the most of this is that we got 30% of new builders, which was our main KPI. Try to get as many people building scenes in as many new people building scenes in Decentraland as possible. We also had 30% of creators that returned to build scenes in Decentraland because of the hackathon, and a 40% of like frequent builders that always ship things in world. So that means that we met the goal of attracting newcomers, but we also gave existing builders no reason to show up again and to build in world. I think one of the biggest hits was that we ran a social media challenge where all the creators needed to also post the process of building their vibe coded scenes in social media. We got a pretty solid momentum, over 165,000 views on Twitter and across the posts that were published by the community and also the Decentraland accounts. We also got 415 people claiming the vibe coding emotes. I see some people in the world right now using it. We ran a feedback survey when the hackathon ended and we got a 4.8 over 5, which is pretty solid. The format, the communications, the support structure, it's kind of worked out. So yeah, I think that the next step is turning this pipeline of generating events for builders, game jams, and hackathons into a repeatable template that we could use throughout next year. Also highlight the winners, maybe like if we see amazing content being developed in these hackathons, maybe incubate those projects in Regenesis Labs. So we're pretty happy with this. Special thanks to Toxic Waifu, a community member, and also Regenesis Labs member who shipped this first project on her tour of duty for Regenesis Labs successfully. Okay, now the fun thing. Mateo will talk about Mateo and Rodrigo will talk about the mobile client development. So next slide, I'll pass it over to you, Mateo.
Okay, great. Thank you. Well, welcome everyone. We are going to do some updates about the mobile client, some things that we released this month. Next slide, please. So basically, the first feature is the social tool. If you can play the video, please. Yeah, we implemented friends, so now you can see your friends, you can add them, and also you can accept your friends. Also, we created a nice right panel that you can see the nearby people that is with you. You can also jump to them, similar to Foundation, but we merged the panel of friends in just one panel that has also the request of the friends. So also we implemented a blocked tab that you can choose who you can see the people that you blocked, and I think it's a pretty awesome feature. Next slide, please. Also, we implemented local notifications. So basically, when you set a reminder on an event and you want to know about that, you will receive a notification on your cell phone. Those are mobile notifications and local ones. That means that it will appear, and hope that on the future we can have push notification that basically they will send you. You don't schedule from the client. They just go to you as an update. Next slide, please. And finally, we are working on visual improvements. So one of those are enabling the shadows and bloom. So now you can see all the you can see the shadows, bloom, and other effects that they were disabled on the mobile client. And we are working on improving more and more the enhancement of the visual path for the mobile client. Next slide, please. So we have a pretty awesome update. So I pass the mic to Rodri, so he can tell you about the updates. Thank you.
Thank you, Matteo. Okay, last two slides and we're good to go. Sorry for the long all hands getting there. So for January on mobile, we're mostly going to be releasing the video player and live streaming. That's being a really new feature that right now you cannot see the video players or streams in the mobile app. So that's coming in January. We're also, for all creators in there, we're adding a preview mode to the Creator Hub. So you'll be able to scan a QR code, have a mobile preview with mobile controls. So please make sure to check that, and specifically when you're designing UI, be sure that they are not conflicting with the mobile controls. More detail on that to come soon. Besides that, we'll also change the overall HUD, which is the heads-up display in the client. I don't know, it's pretty old, so we're changing basically the controls, how they look, the feedback. Hopefully it will feel way better and a really visual upgrade. And also on the entry flow, it's a long due thing, which is removing the verification code with the 2 digits. That's been a long ask. We know it's a pain, so hopefully it's also going out in January. And besides that, overall, it's fixing and lots of bugs that we are getting reports. So yeah, that's basically what we'll deliver for January. Expect the release to happen around the first fortnight, aiming at the first week of January, depending on how the Christmas holidays and end of year goes. So next slide, if we can please, which is the final slide. So all what Mateo has shown and what we have been showing for mobile and the January release, basically what we're working towards is what we call our first V1 release, which we are hoping to ship by Q1 of the next year. And the idea here is, even though the build is currently available in Play Store, uh, it's not what we will say totally shippable. It's still unstable. It still has lots of missing features. It still has a lot of visual enhancement to be done. So we're aiming to basically get a really stable and functional release by end of Q1 and hopefully start promoting that a bit more. And that comes in hand with the next slide, if we can, which is the uh, community testing program. So basically here, Toxic announced this last week, but we're calling everyone in the community, scene creators, players, uh, wearable creators, whatever, to help us hone in and polish the mobile release. This is a program that's going to run from January till end of February, so it's going to be 2 months, around 8 sessions on a weekly playtest. You need to sign up for it. It's the web page in there. We're aiming to get around 20 users in the end. Already 50 sign up, so thanks a lot to everyone. Here, we won't be able to accommodate everyone, but what we'll try to do is get as many devices as possible so we can catch as many bugs as possible and ideally get to this first V1 by end of Q1. So keep posted. Definitely sign up if you haven't. And yeah, hope to have more news for everyone on January. So I think we're done with our part. Um, if we don't have anything else um, ahead, do we have a Q&A or we are done? Okay, we have the Q&A.
While you're doing that, Kaze, I know we're way over on time, so thank you all. We'll work now that we're combining us and the DAO. Obviously, it's just a lot of updates. So thank you guys. It's really exciting stuff coming. We'll go through all of these questions fairly quickly because some are pretty easy to answer. And then we can also follow up on Discord with anything that we need.
Yeah, we need to improve the usability of the photo gallery, the camera reel, to have options for multiple photos at once, to set them public, to be able to delete them and things like that. We're gonna work on that at some point. We just need to prioritize it. But yeah, definitely we have that in mind.
All right, thank you, Alvaro. Will there be a place where community members can provide feedback to the foundation about our new Genesis Plaza?
Yeah, actually, we were discussing now having a suggestion box inside of the plaza, so you can type it directly there. So we'll probably build it integrated in the plaza directly. But not only about the new plaza, you can send feedback about anything.
Amazing. What are the plans for content creation engine and SDK capabilities? How do the social features impact user adoption, retention, and monetization? Sorry. Maybe we can divide the question first for the more technical part.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, as I said in the presentation, we want to improve the SDK and tools by having use cases, and the Plaza and as well the experience with the Creator Connect is gonna be the main point to actually move that needle forward. So we're gonna be using a use case to generate what we need to build, or enabling that use case by building the necessary tools and the SDK, and that's gonna be cycle by cycle. So the ones that we have on the table right now are the ones that we're going to be building. We will like to extend a lot what we do in terms of the SDK and how you can handle your world, things like the what we mentioned with the physics or the skybox or being able to use particles, things like that. We have a long list of things that we would like to work on. And as well on the creator half, we want to make sure that the experience is easier to use and the usability in general is better, and so you have a good level editor and as well as a smart item a creator, and you have a better connection with the IDE, so it's focusing as well on not only for no coders but as well for developers. that have an end-to-end vision or are bigger teams that have artists included. We want the creator hub to improve on that. So yeah, I think this year we're gonna be improving a lot both on the engine SDK and creator hub, and have all those features being implemented first on the plaza. So we are the arrowhead of that. I don't know about the second question, how the social features impact user adoption, retention, and monetization.
I can answer if you want.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah. So generally, what we're trying to do is ensure everything we're building shows how Decentraland is a fun social place. So I think being able to show like these hugs and these little games and the piggybacks will just be fun content for us to create. As a feature itself, does it bring in new users? No. As a way to show what's possible inside Decentraland, yes. So that's the fun part. Retention, I think anything that makes the platform fun, exciting, and interesting helps us with retention, especially as you're using that in the new Genesis Plaza. I'm literally talking to a new person in the plaza right now, and she's like, oh, all of this looks so fun, and now she's hanging with us at the campfire. So we're just thinking about all of that. And then monetization for us is just the norm, the marketplace, and that goes to the DAO. And then for creators, I think just more ways to be creative and to put stuff on the marketplace always helps. I know we're trying to go through these fast just because we're super late on time.
Thanks, Kim. Why are Roblox builders who publicly and privately bash Decentraland getting paid gigs? Lots of talented builders here who use Decentraland who deserve these chances.
I can take that one. So for all of our builds that we do, they can also back this up if you want, but we do open calls and anyone can apply to those open calls. You can come in, you submit your ideas, you submit your skills. Sometimes you have to actually build before you get paid, and we pick the best builds that are working here and those that are collaborating with us. There will be more open calls coming in 2026. So keep your eyes peeled. Also, as Bay mentioned with Creator Connect, we will be doing more studio invites in the future. So if you feel like you're a builder that can contribute in that way, keep your eyes peeled and those open calls will be coming out.
Thanks, Kim. Which are the requirements to being authorized to use the new Decentraland Theater?
I can take that one too if you want. So the new Decentraland Theater, we are working through it right now. We are going to have a book now button. It's just still being built. So coming soon in 2026. Right now, if you need to use the theater, you would go through Stoyan and Bay, and we could talk about what it is you want. But basically, the idea being it has to obviously adhere to all of our terms of service. Tell us the content that you want to use, when you want to use it, etc. But we are finalizing that process. So just give us till 2026 to put that all out. But the documentation is all coming and the book now button process is in works.
Thanks, Kim. Which features developed through the year have provided clear insight into your impact on business and project goals? What is the extent of that impact?
I just noticed Yamel's here. Do you want to take that or?
Yeah, I can take it. So a few projects that had a big impact in the business. I think along the year we ran like a lot of optimizations on the funnel, on the onboarding funnel, from the total amount of people who land in our homepage and landing pages, how many of them get through all the steps, and how we can improve each of those. From like building a new downloadable launcher that is like a 10 times smaller, so it like downloads in a few seconds, from the order of the steps and testing that, and the copy, and now shipping an auto login function, so when you download the client you are already logged in. So like all the iterations on the funnel, even though they provide like small increments in like the completion of the process, like ensuring that that's very well optimized is like an impact that we will have for the future, like every new person that goes there. So yeah, we have been investing and we continue investing in that part for a big part of the year next year. Other parts are like the investment in the creator tools and the creator hub and the editor. Like have increased a lot their share as like the preferred tool for creators to build content inside Decentraland. So we have been seeing like a huge increase in the usage of the our creator tools compared with like CLI and uh, yeah, using the command line tool. So that was an important part. Then we have been setting incentives and for community builders to like run their communities and have like a pack schedule of events in our calendar, ensuring that new people have activities to do in the central. Also, the initiative about credits that I saw there are a lot of questions about that. It's also an initiative that we stated at the early of the year how we can like it's an incentive on the retention of new users, like being able to reinvest in their identity. Like we believe is a good way for retaining people, and we are seeing that in the metrics. The people who engage in the grades, like participate in more events, are more present, and new users are like engaged by that activity. Um, Also, that represents like a more activity in the marketplace for those who are creators and selling their wearables. There is a push in their sales and the demand of wearables. So well, incentivizing the economy, still iterating on it, like the amount of credits we issue, it's pretty slow though, but let us learn about it. Um, yeah, and all the improvements in the performance of the client, even though we know that sometimes we ship some features and we need to fix it, but the performance of the client have improved vastly this year, and that's like a big upside for everyone using it and actually making Decentraland available in more and more computers. So we have seen a lot of stability on that side. Well, I don't want to go longer. I know that we have more questions. Hope that helps.
Thanks, Emil. We paid real money to mint names, but now anyone can mint a name using free credits. Why dilute investors' governments' power with free assets?
I can take that as well. Um, so the credits that we are giving, like we foundation is subsidizing the mana, so like it's not like we are printing money, we're using our own money to give the credits out. And the credits are not free in that sense, like you have to like spend time in the client, you have to engage. And we have been iterating on the goals, making it like harder to farm and also like more aligned with like what adds value to the platform. And we are continuing iterating on this. Still experimental, and we are not committing that we're running this grade. I don't know, next year, all year. We'll see. We're still learning about it and how to frame it, but definitely having an impact on people coming back. And I think in terms of governance and diluting the power and that part, I think it's at the end at the benefit of all that we have more people and engage in the platform. I think that will bring more value to all of us.
Thanks, Emil. I think I can take that, and maybe if anyone else wants to jump in, let me know. How do you justify the unfair advantage of newcomers publishing for free with credits while we paid hundreds and haven't recouped our costs? I think what it's important here to mention that at the moment, even with the maximum amount of credits that you can get from a season, and you need to spend that at the end of the season, it barely covers like between one third and one fourth of the cost for actually publishing a collection on the marketplace. So although there is a bit of cost that you can cover from the credits, definitely not 100%, more like 20. So I don't believe, at least from my side, that that's an unfair advantage. And also I think having more creators in the space is overall beneficial for the platform. If anyone else wants to add something on that one, let me know.
Yeah, I was just going to add, since adding credits, we're definitely seeing an increase in marketplace activity overall. So if you have stuff that you have created, be sure to wear it around the plaza, let people see it, and make sure they know about it. But we're definitely seeing that increase in people buying not only publishing or names, but also just other items in the marketplace. And a lot of it, when I'm talking to new users, they're walking around looking at people's outfits and being like, that's cool, how do I get that? So just be sure to show off your work as well.
Will Discover section be showed before summoning into the world, or we still are gonna enter the Genesis Plaza first? I think we don't have a plan.
No, this Discover section will be across any scene, so it will be part of the full screen menu. So you don't need to be in Genesis Plaza to actually open it. You need to be in the game though. So I don't know if you mean that you have like a pre-login version of the Discover section. Yeah, we haven't really thought about that.
Thanks,
Yeah,
Alvaro.
it's a fair point. We can think about it.
If everyone can get the same exclusive wearable instantly, I think, yeah, then there was a switch. When will Archaic wearable curation requirements be revised in light of the new client capability, fire gatekeeping curators, and automate the system? Maybe that's more for a DAO Vault than our call, but if anyone wants to jump in. Yeah, I think that's something.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's something that
Sorry.
it's something that we discussed on the town hall last week. So the composition of the curation committee is up to community voting. So anyone can start a proposal to deprecate, to fire or to hire committee members. And there is also the governance proposal open to propose a new thing or to change that. There might be some room for improvement with the credits now and everything. So I think it's an opportunity to discuss. We are gonna be launching in January, like structured like office hours, I would say, to discuss these kind of things. So hopefully we can get to an agreement or an idea on how to improve that.
Thank you, Gino.
About the engine capabilities, we were able to actually squeeze 200 people on the same scene with 60 FPS, but on high-end devices, right? We're still having problems with performance with a big chunk of the user that doesn't have high-end devices. So actually pushing for having even more complex avatars with more triangles and bigger textures and things like that won't help on this situation. There is ongoing initiatives actually to make the Explorer more performance on low-end devices. Yeah, we need to revisit how, if we want the wearables to have more share in terms of triangles and materials and rendering cost, it will have to be on having LODs as well for wearables, or having to have some compromises on how many avatars we're gonna have in the scene. So yeah, it is a complex topic, but for now we need to focus on performance so everybody can use the platform as it is right now.
Thank you, Alvaro. Okay, we have a couple more questions, so let's try to speed it up. If everyone can get the same exclusive wearable instantly with free credits, why should anyone bother playing Core Farming? What's the value for collectors now?
Hey, Stoyan, I was just going to jump in. I know we're at 2 hours and we have a few more questions. Some of them seem pretty repeated, like credits. It's great for everyone in the system. We're improving the process, etc. The coin, we don't control the coin. We don't control the listings. Like we can keep moving. Christmas items in the creator hub. We can talk about that.
We don't have it. We can push them. Yes.
Yeah. So just trying to jump through this quickly. Worlds versus Genesis City. We can have a chat about that as we move forward. But generally speaking, we just want to focus on places where we can make great content. I don't know, Alvaro, if you want to address that very quickly, but I know we need to kind of wrap up.
Walls right now are more accessible, and a lot of people have land on Genesis City and they don't use it. So yeah, we want people to create great content, or we want to be enabling that. So whatever is the best way to do that.
Yep. And then I see a question about banning. We can follow up with that in Slack on just what the process is and how that works. Kaze, I know, has that information for you.
Yes. The only thing that I can mention on that one is we have the terms and conditions and terms of service that apply, and if anyone wants to appeal a ban, they can send an email to legal@decentraland.org and we can review the request internally.
Okay, cool. And then product growth strategy for DCL. Yes, we're doing it. We're working on that. Unrelated to the Mana point, but just as a platform, we want to hit spaces where we have tens of thousands of users in a month. So we are working on that end. I talked a lot about that at the beginning. Can we make names assignable to communities? Anything that we need from a creator community standpoint, we can submit those requests to Juan and he can help filter them all up to Alvaro and the rest of the product team, and we can prioritize them. And then just trying to knock through these really quick. VR, we are not working on that at the moment. We are working on things that help us get accessible. So VR, we did the research, the number of users, number of people that have VR headsets is very low compared to the people that have lower end computers, mobile, etc. So that's where we will be focusing for now with the Regenesis Labs team and our team. Okay, and if there's any other questions, maybe Kaze, we can have them come in the Discord and we can answer async.
Yeah, no worries. We'll check them out, and if we miss something important, let us know in Discord. Really sorry that we pushed the time so much. We'll definitely make a bit of improvement for next time. First of all, to meet entirely in the client, and we'll do the other way around. We'll stream from the client into Discord for people that are on the go, and also we'll revise the timing so we can keep things a bit more concise. From my side, really appreciate everyone taking the time to join us. Thanks once again, and enjoy the rest of the day from my side.
Thank you, everybody. Have a really nice day.
Thank you, folks.
Thanks. See you in World.